when you look at Sahil ji, you have Ravi ji is shining. This is the magic of Indian names. You know, Gaura is I was wondering, it is the other name of Mata Parvati.
Yes.
Brazil is absolutely, you know, these names, they create a lot of synergy when you see all of them across, and we are waiting for now to Akash ji is reminds you of height in life is the question, is the sky, you know, the meaning is amazingly good. I think there are more than about 40 people on board, and it's a sizable strength, and we have a lot of teachers and principals on board currently. I think by and by they will join. Dr. Shashi, maybe dot at 6 we start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Very good evening, Shashi ji, and good evening to one and all. आप सबको मेरा नमस्ते, सलाम, सत श्री अकाल। आज की शाम बहुत स्पेशल होने वाली है. It's going to be very special evening when we have very sizzling stars on board in terms of the faculty we have, in terms of the panelists we have. They are with wonderful experience. They are, you know, very diverse stakeholders. We have some young people who have brought in a lot of energy, a lot of, you know, dynamism with them. I welcome to all of you. We do nothing special. Actually, all specialties are with you. Our job is very simple. At EduTalk, we bring all your experiences on board, and with your experiences, people who are attending are benefited. That's the main job of the EduTalk, and the program which we have coined Voice of Choice basically is designed to create awareness among people of the new education policy, and also to keep them updated on the burning issues, the one which we are also going to discuss today. You see, this is the time I'm reminded of my own college days, when the entire university campuses are with a lot of crowd, a lot of youngsters, a lot of good dresses, all very excited to walk into the colleges. Same was with me. I got into the Kirodimal College after my first admission into Hindu College because I was a sportsman. And I was a little too privileged that I could get into Hindu College without doing much, and then could transfer to myself to the Kirodimal College, which had very strong team. But unfortunately, this pandemic has delayed the entire process. Not only delayed the process, but also disrupted the main, you know, functions of the system. A very crucial, I think Akashi has also joined us.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Akashi, good evening. You're welcome.
sir, good evening.
We are just setting the context right. You are very much on time.
Yeah, with just some technical issue. So
Yeah, these are. We have learned to live with a lot of technical glitches.
yeah, I know.
Which comes in.
Yeah.
So I was talking about, you know, the time. This is the time when admissions are normally already in process. It is these of a very unfortunate cancellation, but very needed of the examination which has taken place. We are going to discuss a very crucial matter with regard to the admission in colleges in backdrop of internal assessment in +2. Let us see historically how was it happening, how it happened with me, how it happened with Raviji, or how it happened with Akashji, or how it happened with Jyotiji or with Sahilji. These youngsters will come on board so that you should know. You see, in previous years, it was only one stroke shot. That is the final examination in +2, which was deciding everything. A cutoff of percentage, entrances by the respective institution. That is how the admissions were done. I would like to take first bite onto how you as people from academia, because that was to my mind only a summative assessment of a child. You know, people like me were benefited because we had played up to one level. So I got 5% as leverage under the what they call ECA quota. And then after playing for a country, any college will pick you up. But normally, if that shot goes bad, that means you're sulking into a depression. How do you think about one-shot game? That is the previous system of considering student for admission. I would like to take. We have Professor Dr. Raviji from Delhi Metropolitan Education, which is having its connect with the Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, and we are also privileged to have the co-founder of Rishihood University, the higher education people. Then we are having on board is Akash Khandelwalji, who is a founder member of the BPS Society, Amritsar, and we have somebody who is very seasoned as a school principal, Jyoti Arora ji, with her background of being with the Delhi World Public School and also the Amity and Bal Bharati School. And we have two youngsters on board, Gaura and Mridul. It's magical to have you from Manav Rachna and Delhi World Public School. So the first bite goes to Raviji, Professor Dr. Ravi. How do you see, that this one shot deciding your admission, if you have scored very well in that examination, you can go into SRC, you can go into Delhi College of Engineering, or you can go to elsewhere. How's your take, sir?
I think this system has long been there, or we can say this is the traditional system, but gradually people discarded this system. And say if I talk about the Delhi NCR region, like University of Delhi is known for taking admissions through percentages. But then came models like IP University, for which I am representing. And like say IP was started in 1998. And IPU said that, okay, leave behind whatever you have done till now. Come, we'll have a fresh entrance examination. And even if you have 46% in 12th, don't bother about that. You come, you appear in this entrance, and if you perform fairly well, you are going to get admission. So I'll say that traditional model is considered the 12th percentage, but the new model, which is now coming in vogue, so that says that forget about the percentage in 10th or 12th, or let the background be in the background. Come fresh, have an exam, perform there, and the admission is yours. So, sir, there is another lacuna in the system of considering the 12th percentage, which is fundamentally a lacuna which has been discussed a lot, criticized a lot. And that lacuna is that how do you compare an apple with an orange? You cannot compare the scores of Rajasthan board with CBSE scores. So traditionally what was happening is that students who were studying at CBSE or in states where the marks were, I'll say, inflated, they were getting admission in universities like DU. While students from states like Rajasthan board or I don't know, even other state boards, they were the sufferers because those boards were not giving that much inflated marks. So that was a fundamental lacuna in that system. So I believe that considering the percentage in 12th is an old system, is a traditional system. I'm sure DU is also moving towards the new system wherein they are going for an entrance. So let background be in the back and let us start fresh.
I think well said, Raviji.
This is the model which I subscribe to.
I'm sure the youngsters must be very relieved that leave your 46, 48% behind. The traditional system had a lot of lacunas, very well pointed out. I think we have somebody who's very important and has a connect with another university, is Rishi Woods University, which is also in limelight quite a bit because of their approach. I have been personally to the university as a very unknown person to the university people, but I liked it very much. The arrival of these private universities are going to make a lot of difference in the career of the children who are. In our days, there was hardly any other private university. You have to go to Delhi University, or you have to go to JNU, or you have to go to Jamia Millia Islamia. Now you see number of university private players with lot of additional facilities, services on board have come. Rishi Wood is one of them. Sahilji, please.
Thank you so much, Mohanji, for those very kind words for us. I will bluntly say that I'm very much against board exams. Last time, and also we were having a discussion of assessment pattern. I really don't think board exams can provide much information to us. Now, what kind of problems it is creating for, let's say, our university as a case, and similarly with so many universities. So when we are trying to judge the students for admission, what are we trying to really identify? We are trying to identify whether the student has a sincere interest in studying this program. Right?
Absolutely.
We are trying to identify whether the student will be able to successfully complete this program. Similarly, the student is also trying to understand whether this program is the right program for me to study and do well in life. What happens in board exam? Taking just the example of how the selection in Delhi University happens, if you get 98.5%, you get into this kind of a college with this kind of a course. You neither decide your course, you neither decide your college. So the board exam is not really able to give any meaningful input to the student. Absolutely. And neither to the university. So this is I think the thing that we have to change now. Last time when I participated in the panel, I was saying that this board exam, it's not the disease, it's only a symptom. The disease is something else. And to me, the disease is that there is a demand supply gap. There are so many students who are bright, but there are not so many options for them to study at good places. I think that is what is going to change with a lot of new universities coming up. If you look in the US, most of the top universities are private universities.
Absolutely.
I think that's what is going to happen in India in the next 10-15 years. A lot of private universities with their innovative approach will overtake these government universities which have been following a very rudimentary, traditional, archaic process, because they are not able to really provide that openness to the student. Their approach is that it's a cookie cutter approach that all the students have to go through a standard exam. They will select because they don't want to really invest their time and energy in identifying the right students. They just want to go by a number. But the student is not a number, right? There's so much more to the student, and that is what we really want to find out. So our approach at Rishi Woods has been that we do two things. One is we rely a lot on the interview of the student, because that's the time when we get to know the student very well. We get to know their aspiration, we get to know their interests, their family background, what they want to do, what they don't want to do, what they like, what they don't like. Secondly, we rely a lot on the recommendation of the teachers and principals, because we as a university have met the student only for the first time. But the teachers and principals, they have known the student for so many years. They really can vouch for the student's seriousness in that course they're applying for. So that's the process that we like to follow. So I encourage more and more universities to adopt this kind of an approach, which is very student-centric.
I'm sure the young people on board will carry a very important message way back home. You see, it is very relaxing to hear the two eminent people from the higher education. Sahilji said that they look into various other factors which are much more important than the examination and the numbers. It is not the symptoms, it is the disease which is now being treated. A lot of private players coming into being is a very happy situation. India means numbers, and these numbers government universities cannot cater to. And I think we are very fortunate to have number of principals now on board. I see Nandini ji, I see Aparna ji on board. I think number of principals have joined. They will be definitely be benefited with the kind of the inputs made by the higher education academy. I will now take in with the school education people who are involved. There is at a very senior level, Khandelwal ji is involved as a founder member of the DPS Society at the Amritsar. But before that, I will like to take, direct input from Jyoti Arora ji, who's busy in now creating. You see, what has happened, children, is that after the Supreme Court, Honorable Supreme Court has given a verdict or has asked the central government to take a stand on a policy matter. The matter was sub judice till 31st of June. That's how our Honorable PM had a meeting with his top ministers, and they decided that it is in fitness of the time that we cancel the examinations. So the situation is the examinations are cancelled. A new criteria has come out. There was 11-member committee which has come out with the criteria. And the criteria has been with Jyoti Arora ji. She has been working on those parameters and trying to, set the tone for the internal assessment and moderations. She will share with us how is it going on. Jyoti ji, all yours.
Yeah, a very good evening, everyone. I think the exams have been cancelled, and definitely the students have been in a dilemma, and it has been a crisis situation for the students and the parents, and also for us as educators. But I always feel in a crisis, there come out opportunities. So the opportunity has come out that we are looking at when we are, looking into the result, and the result committee has been formulated, and it includes everybody. Like along with the principal, you have the senior teachers from different subjects. You also have teachers from other schools. So I think first of all, the committee that has been formed, it will do justice. And eventually the children also, they will have implicit faith and trust in the school. So looking at this criteria, as I said, it is an opportunity for all of us, and some kind of, we had to come to such, something together. So I think if you look at 30 and 40, because class 10 as it is, if you look at the 30% criteria from class 10, I think it is well justified, because that is the board examination, the first board examination which the children gave. And there also the liberty is that you choose the best 3 subjects where the children have performed very well, and you take out the average of that. Then coming to class 11th, because in class 11th, we had the offline exams. So, and when the children come to class 11th, it is altogether a different kind of situation because they are studying different kinds of subjects. But here another catch is that the children, they take it a little easy, they are a little relaxed, and they get into different activities, like in our school also, MUN sessions and other things, they become very important for them. And also, teachers on their part, we try our best, that the children, we are a little strict, and even the quality of question papers, everything, it's very stringy, and it is very looked, it is monitored very well. So I think that is justified. But I think the kind of moderation that has been permitted, you could have +5 and -5, I think that takes care of any kind of apprehension anyone will have. And then when you come to class 12th also, you have the liberty of looking at all the aspects. It could be unit tests, because we are not talking about the schools in metro cities. We are looking at the country together. So here we have the unit test, the periodic test, the offline exams, the online exams. So everything is there. So there the school has the liberty to choose the best scores of the child. So I think it is very well justified if as a committee together, we are working out, there will be apprehension. And in case the children are not satisfied with anything, they have the liberty to give the offline exams whenever the situation improves. So I think this is the best that could have happened in the current scenario, because together we had to come out with a solution. And definitely now education has to change, because 2020 will, in the annals of history, I will say in the annals of education history, there will be a pre-pandemic era and there will be a post-pandemic era. So I think as it is, we have to evolve. And my take is that it is a wonderful situation, and we are trying to moderate. We are facing problems at times, but one thing is there's a cap, because you have the reference year. You have been given a historical reference year by CBSE. So that takes care of
I
everything.
think well said, Jyoti. We have certain apprehensions, we have certain problems, but we have a lot of solutions with us. We have, we have in hand of moderation. Wherever your own teachers who have taught you for 12 years, that trust deficit should not be there. You must appreciate your own people are engaged in evaluating. We have somebody very, very senior from DPS Society from Amritsar who has a very big experience with him, is Khandelwal ji. We would like to hear from you, Khandelwal ji. How do you feel about it when this 30-30-40 formula has come, when that one shot has gone away, the annual exam has gone away? What is your feel about it?
Yeah, thank you, Mohanji. Thanks for giving this opportunity, and very nice comments came from all the panel experts. I think we are discussing a very important element in Indian education system, where school education has to take a good quality output to the higher education system. What Sahil was talking about, that if you need a very qualitative input, you need to have a qualitative assessments at the school level.
Absolutely.
Sadly, if you see, because the way we evolved in our education system, the way we have come up with an assessment process, it was very much external based, and that became the criteria to select or reject a lot of merit in our country. So somehow, if you see, we have sad stories where students did entered good number of colleges, but they suddenly found that I'm unfit, or why have I joined this? And I was being aptitude was very different. I could have taken some other course. So there are so many multiple variations which do come into the child's mind, because the aptitude level at the school is our fault, because I come from the school system, has been observing for last 17-18 years, and what Jyoti ma'am was saying, that yes, CBSE came out with very balanced formula, because this pandemic is going on, and this could have been the best, but then again the internal assessment is not that trustworthy. If you see a week back, might be ma'am knows about that, where the controller examinations came out with a circular that there would be surprise visits. So what Mohanji, you were talking about, a trust deficit, yes, trust deficit do exist because there are 25,000 schools and there's no uniformity. There can be a booster mechanism being set by the school because that is how the local school flourishes. They get more enrollments, the parents do get happy, children are, because it's a more of a happy environment the school do create. That is why the external examinations came in. But only point is that how we migrate as students from senior secondary to a college level, the today's discussion. So somewhere we have to get that freedom of choice, because CBSE came out with a lot of multiple options, vocational subjects, then other code stream subjects. There are many subjects around. But somehow, because what Sahil might be as a private university chancellor, and there are many more private universities which I also know, and they also face this problem that, because you don't offer subjects at one stage when they are entering into where they can just select their aptitude, they are not able to do that. Because schools don't offer. Schools don't have expertise to offer. We don't have teachers to offer. So we compartmentalize the student at a very early age. So from 9th onwards, we try to push it either to science, art, and officially we label the child that, okay, you are an arts department, you are science, you are commerce, you are medical, you are non-medical, and there are multiple, because that is how teacher ratio gets managed at the school economics level. So school goes through a lot of transformational stages, and the poor child becomes sometimes the sufferer for that. And that is why we don't get, right counseling desks from the school level where they can appear for the so many tests, which because there are more tests of rejection. When you come from Kerodimal College, you know that how tests. It's a test of where there are so many lakhs of students sit for so less number of seats. Where for I can quote, last year my son passed out from in Delhi from Arkepuram, and at a 94%, he couldn't get eco anyway, right? So I have to go for some alternate option because his love was eco. He was getting math somewhere. But the child's aptitude has to be measured. And that's not being done so nicely because school and higher education, the planning is different. Ministries are different. So they don't correlate and collaborate with each other so strongly. Because CBSE is an examining body. And they have to produce results for the national level. So they have to give us a national pass out average for the world. That, okay, our students are passing out. But our higher education system is not ready to have an intake of that order. So there is a complete mismatch, which somebody talked about, demand-supply issue, and there is a qualitative issue also.
Absolutely.
So that
I think well taken. Patel has thrown very, there's certain clearing facts which he has brought in, which, of course, the schools are trying their level best so that trust deficit goes away. And what Khandelwal ji said, that the gap between the school and the college education and the university education, the country has to think in terms of reducing that. This was at the back of our mind when we started this program. All three diverse stakeholders on board together, talking on such a crucial minute, must be giving a lot of comfort to Gaura and Mridul, that people have a genuine concern for you. Don't you ever feel scared, backseated? Everybody is there to look after, and now your voice is also being heard of. We have number of principals who are on board. We have Anjali Malik ji, also there from JP Public School. Is Anjali ji there? I see her on board. I thought there are certain experienced principals who are there. I would like to now switch over to the young people. How do you feel hearing, inputs from the university academia, from somebody who's moderating it, somebody who's in making of your result, and like Khandelwalji has thrown light on very, very crucial areas. I would like to go to Gaura. Gaura, how do you feel to be on board hearing all the very important people? Gaura is from Manav Rachna School.
Good evening,
And
everyone.
she is in Manav Rachna is in Noida.
Hmm.
They have also branches in Faridabad. I have been associated with one of the school. It's called Harman Minor School in Faridabad. I recall we started in 1983, and this is Nindya ji is a principal there. Am I right? Good. So your bite now.
So it's definitely a relief hearing about that. We're just not labels or like streams or beyond the scores. Yeah. And I also believe that the correlation between a student's academic ability and their scores have been always questionable. And especially in these times, since the primary platform of both conducting tests and of classes have been online. So it's quite questionable that is the student really up to his scores or not, you know. And again, I also feel that the one-time board system created an academic pressure for the student, where the students usually picked up boards at during January, picked up the books at January and February, and then felt the pressure building up. So I also feel that this one board system created this mugging up route, where the students were forced to memorize the facts and the procedures in subjects which are also application based, like maths or physics, let's say. So yeah, it's a relief that universities, I myself believe that universities should be taking entrance tests or letter of recommendations, interviews, GDs, etc. to see for a student's complete holistic development. So yeah, that's what I believe.
It is admirable, young people also has started realizing that the old system was based on rote learning.
Right.
So that is what the government has an intent of, changing its gear. They will be, not banking on one time, which we'll talk later part. I'll go to Mridul. Mridul, how do you feel about, after hearing very, very renowned, very seasoned people from the university, people from the school? I hope it must have given you a little chill feeling.
Definitely, sir. I once read in a book this concept of rope tying. When mountaineers go to the climbing mountains, they tie rope with one another. Sir, this helps them in their safety. So looking back, I see so many people tied to my rope to take care of me in the difficult times. Sir, yes, indeed. Indeed,
Well
sir, when a
taken,
new
well
system
taken, well summed up also. Please go ahead.
Indeed, sir, when a new system like this comes up, there is a lot of ambiguity, there's a lot of confusion in the starting. But yes, sir, as we go through it, like the online classes in the starting were absolute fun. But then gradually we started missing the tradition education, going to schools, chatting with our friends and all that. So yes, sir, that was a bit of pain. But at the same time, sir, it helps us realize that we have a lot of free time. And time management is one thing I learned in this lockdown as well. I invested my time in learning some new skills. And sir, regarding college, this pandemic has not affected what I wanted to be. I always wanted to be an aeronautical engineering, and I wanted to go into DRDO. So still, sir, this thing has been going on, and I'm in the final stage of getting admission into the college. So yes, sir, it has helped me a lot. And absolutely, sir, the traditional system, as you said, it was a one-stroke system. But now the 30-30-40 formula, it is more for the people who are Rahul driven. So
absolutely,
the consistency is being tested here. From class 10th to class 12th, every extra problem a child has solved, every extra minute of study put into the studying, every extra little effort, every baby step he has taken will be paid off, and it is to the advantage of the children.
Very encouraging hearing, Mridul. giving very good example of mountaineer, and talking about Rahul Dravid, who's a China wall in cricket field. Absolutely fantastic hearing you, and absolutely, we feel very confident when we hear our young people that our future is in very safe hands. Very confident people you are. We all are there with you. This is the assurance we want to give you through this forum, that the school principals, the college academia will definitely be with you. Remain very confident. Keep playing continuously. Don't relax in 11th class. That was another lacuna in the one-stroke examination. You know that 11th class is not going to count you, so you can rest back, which is not correct, I think. Now I'll take another bite with the college, the university academia. Considering the present 30-30-40 formula, what additional, I recall my admission, I got admitted initially to Hindu college, and when we started attending the class, I was sitting with somebody who was having 5% more score than me, because I was in the sports quota. And 96, 98% is now, in our days, 60%. If you have, in the entire street, in the entire mohalla, the laddus will be distributed. That he's got 60% marks. So, now it is reversed. These scores have created stress. And I'm sure what Sahilji and what Raviji was talking, it is very relaxing hearing them, that there are private players who are interested in knowing if a child wants to do X course, what else is required for the admission. I would like to request Sahilji to come out with his bite. What does his university looks in a child who's going for a X course or a Y course in Rishi University?
Thank you, Mohanji. I'm actually very happy to listen from the schools as well as the students, because this alignment between the students, the school and the university, that's very important. As Akashji was also saying, we don't have some formal channels of collaborating and understanding each other, but these forums help in that a lot. So my take and our take as a university is very much in alignment with what the new education policy has proposed in terms of most of the selections depending on the aptitude test. So we don't want the students to take a lot of stress and cram before the board exams. At the same time, we also don't want that there should be no assessment and anyone can just freely walk in to any university. I think an aptitude-based common test, which the NEP also proposes, that will solve a lot of problems, especially if that test can be taken at different dates, just like the SAT or just like the GMAT, GRE tests. So what that helps us to do is that the students can choose a set of domains they want to appear in the test. So they can choose that they want to appear in sciences and mathematics and language. Someone can say that I want to appear in mathematics and economics and language. So based on my interest of the degree I want to study, I will choose the sections of the aptitude test, and my scores will then help me. The universities will be able to judge my aptitude in those different scores, using those tests. So I will give an example of how I would like to do it. So we have a course in entrepreneurship, for which our basic requirement is the students' aptitude to understand business. So rather than looking at so for example, a score in computer science or a score in physical education will not help us identify anything in terms of their business aptitude. Whereas if the student is coming from, let's say, a non-medical background, there is no way to identify the business aptitude of the student board exam. So we would like the students to choose that these are the different areas they want to appear in the test, rather than selecting the subjects in the school, because as Akashji was also saying, it is compartmentalized because the school cannot offer 100 choices to the students, but an aptitude test can. So those questions will help me understand the aptitude of the student. On top of that, of course, we like to have an interview, because there can be a lot that the student wants to explain, and most importantly, the recommendation of the principals. For example, we very strongly trust the recommendation of the principal for scholarship, because the principal really knows the financial background or the meritorious ability of the student for deserving a scholarship. Just a marks-based scholarship may not help us so much, but currently we don't have other options. So I think eventually from the in the years to come, because of the NEP, we will see these changes, and I think that will help the students a lot.
Very well. I think Sahilji has thrown a lot of light on the considerations which his university has. I think aptitude, which is very important if you want to become you want to pick up any subject. Your aptitude has a lot of consideration into it. And he talked about also the recommendations of the principal is very important, especially in scholarship. That reminds me, you see, I, being a sportsman, was offered a scholarship. But once I realized the scholarship is coming from, I came home first in the first quarter, and I shared with my father that I'm not required to pay to the college. He says, why? So he was very taken aback. He says, fees kyun nahi denge hum? You are going and I want to pay your fees. I said, no. They said, being a very, profiled sportsman, So then he said, you find out where from this money is coming for your scholarship. And I was amazed to know, it was coming from nowhere else than Student Development Fund. And he said, you accept it and give it back to them. Whole year scholarship was returned back so that a deserving candidate who really need that. So, the scholarships are also very, at times, deceptive. We need to be very careful receiving it. It belongs to somebody else. We could afford. I will request Raviji. Very interesting, because IP University is very huge. That's what I know a little bit about it, that they have taken into fold so many colleges into it, so that it has, standard in place, it has everything is institutionalized. How is his university coming out with the, consideration, especially when the criteria is internal? Raviji, it's your take.
As I said that IPU belongs to the school of thought, which says that leave background behind you and come fresh and let us take an entrance. That is one. Another thing which we have done to COVID, like IPU, yes, you rightly said, it's a large university and the number of students are around 80,000. So from international standards, it's a great university. And the number of courses is also around 80. Other than that, the NIRF rankings and all that, like when we talk about NIRF rankings, which are the most authentic rankings, so IPU stands among the top 10% universities. I can tell the audience that in the Indian scenario, we have 4 categories of universities. One is the central university, the one in which you studied. It's a centrally funded university. Second, for which I am working, the state government university. Third, for which Sahilji is Sahilji's venture, that is a private university. And fourth is the deemed university, right? So together, all these 4 categories of university form 875. So in India, we have 875 universities in all. Among these 875 universities, IPU is among the top 10% going by the NIRF rankings, right? So yes, IPU says that forget about the 12% come with the entrance. And yes, another important thing is that as far as entrance is concerned, IPU conducts its own entrance in some courses, and in some other courses it says that, okay, we don't have our entrance, you go by the national entrance exams. Say for example, for engineering, the JEE scores are considered. For law, the CLAT scores are considered. For architecture, the NATA scores. While for courses like BPA, BJMC or hotel management, IPU conducts its own entrance exam. So the good point is that there is no multiplicity of tests. Say, for example, an engineering student, in any case, he is supposed to appear for JEE. So those JEE scores are considered by IPU, no separate entrance exam. Another feature which has been done due to this present situation is that like there are few seats for which the student can simply walk into the college, go through an interview, as Sahilji said. So that provision is there in IPU also, that you can visit a college because IPU is essentially a group of colleges. IPU has got around 90 colleges, and so DU has. So these colleges, the student can walk into any college, appear for an interview, we'll find which course you are interested into, and the admission can be finalized on the spot. This is a special provision which has been done due to the pandemic situation.
Very, very encouraging to know that.
Sir, one more.
Please go ahead. Go ahead, Ravi.
Yeah. Regarding scholarship, yes, like there is what we call euphemism. Euphemism means using soft words for a particular thing. So this scholarship has become a euphemism in the sense that if I am giving a discount to a student, I call it scholarship, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now see, as far as if I am giving a scholarship before the admission is being done, it's a sort of discount. But yes, Delhi government, I can inform the audience, is the richest government in this country. And the parameter is per capita income. Yes, Delhi is the richest government. Haryana is at number 5. Sahilji, the place in which your university is located, it's the 5th richest government in this country in terms of per capita income. I think that's a decent parameter. So, having said that Delhi government is the richest government, sir, I can tell you that it got the best scholarship schemes. Anyone can apply and get a scholarship. It's that generous, that magnanimous.
Absolutely. It is delight hearing Ravi ji throwing light on walking directly into the university for admission or appearing through the entrances. They have their own ways also of looking at your aptitude. I'm sure Mridul and Dora must be quite confident that there are universities, when you go back to your schools, do share with your classmates that feel relaxed, especially when the private players are there. You can go into these universities as well. Taking further into it, a dig into what is going to be now further mode of UC assessment. There's going to be a huge shift. I've been engaged in since 2017 with the draft policy which has come into main with some of the private organizations in putting up the recommendation. So there were 2-3 groups where I was invited to. You see, now there's going to be a shift on meta learning. There is a engage model of lesson plan which has come. Engage model is purely allowing children to take control of their own learning, allowing them to assess themselves, encouraging them to be a part of assessment. What they call now in their terms is called Parak. Parak is a performance assessment analysis review of knowledge for holistic development. Parak has been developed under the NTA, under Vineet Joshi ji. So we've been chatting on regular basis that what are going to be the changes in this. So you are going to be, youngsters are going to be part and parcel of the entire learning process. You will be allowed to generate your learning. You will be allowed to assess your own self. Now you will not be considered, you are immature, you are not capable. Normally, this is what we elder come out with excuses. So there's a lot of going to be relaxation in the forthcoming years. This is what I have understood from the National Education Policy NEP 2020. I would like to take a bite from Akash because he has about 17 years good experience of handling school at the management level. So how does he foresee the forthcoming, affecting particularly the learning pattern, the national education policy's impact on students, particularly these two young people are there, so that they come to know about all this?
Yeah, actually, what I feel, because if you just to reflect onto a pre-pandemic level, and when at the national level we introduced CCE, because the same debate which we are trying to do today, the debate which we are trying to do today is
I'll request 1 minute, Khandelwal ji. I'll request all attendees to kindly Chitra Sharma ji, kindly unmute yourself. Thank you very much. Yes, Khandelwal.
Yeah, so because if you see at the national level, we have already introduced CCE once, that was continuous and comprehensive evaluation, and that evaluation gave us a lot of results. So what we are talking about in new education policy, that was a part experiment which got done by the national board, but after a lot of discussions that rote learning is coming into place, and we are not able to produce a very holistic individual from the higher education system and from the school education system also. So that is where it came in, and school took a lot of effort. It got implemented, but somehow, the policy again got, reversed, and we were again to the partly examination system and a little bit of, the evaluation on an internal assessment. So that is what the balance, got created. Now back to the self, the review, I think that is all lies to the, the stakeholders from the parent side, and from the peer group, from the school groups, because the self-assessment has to be analyzed and has to be given a very, a very controlled and a very responsible feedback. Because that feedback, as a lot of private universities, state universities, government universities, international universities, they are all relying on their data. So that data has to be very reliable, stamped properly, so that tomorrow a child in higher education should go in with a lot of skill sets which can be there to be proved upon. Because oral assessment, yes, it's good, but then you have to do another assessment like written assessments that also needs time to evaluate and then to make an entry into the right course. So a lot of students who are out here, they know that, okay, I have to enter this program. They can select universities, but then they have to be ready with their own feedback process. School is trying to do what they have a capacity. So Mohanji, because school it's a very complex organism. Because there are multiple individuals, and coming out, and then they have to be evaluated by the adults, because we are dealing with, as compared to the higher education, it's adult to adult review. Here we have to give them that space, because a personality is being developed. We have to give them values. We don't have to just make it a robot kind of a structure for our society. As a balanced and such a responsible country, we have to give children coming out from school and then entering the higher education should come out with flying spirits, because a lot of universities have also created a criteria which children cannot enter. I just want to make a point here, because a lot of more courses, let's say we're talking about a blended model here. So universities can come out with an open program where children can do a minor module and a major module in combination. So a lot of international universities are often like what MOOCs tried to do, or IGNOU tried to do, because IGNOU was a huge success, because that is how a vocational trade could get developed while somebody was working also, and that university contributed hugely to the development of this country. If I can, because you have been with UNESCO, and I studied a UNESCO report of, I think, early 90s, where they have taken on record that NIT is the vocational institute. When NIT came as a computer training institute, that built a revolution of an IT sector in India. I was involved in that sector at that time, and I could still remember my students who were just BCom, passed out from a smaller student. They could fly to US, did a good program and could settle there, or they came back to India and have joined good job opportunities. Because of that one vocational trait, which no higher education institute gave, because all higher education institutions were not updating their curricula. This is the problem with the state and the private, the government universities. Private universities try to evolve, but the state universities still at that time trying to deliver an outdated curriculum. These issues have to be addressed so that children should not wander around and can get into an obsolete professional once they pass out from 4 years program or 3 years track. And that is where the job opportunities didn't come, because if you see, the government of India has announced the Skill India program or National Vocational Education Framework. All this framework has to be dealt upon, and that has to be ingrained. We should not do only a program with one core stream. Those students out here, you follow your passion also. Please follow your passion through online. Online mode is all open with a lot of private universities offering like international, like programs like Coursera and all. So they're offering good programs. So many students can enter into that zone. So democratically, if we think we can create a not a gap, but between a bridge from a school education to higher education with multiple opportunities, coming out with a lot of campuses. Like if we say there are no programs which are coming, let's say very good programs on artificial intelligence, on good small short-term programs. People are dying for these kind of programs. So universities have to be very updated, because 21st century skills, if higher education doesn't give, we will be losing the meritocracy that still exists. That generation will not be able to produce something very productive for this country.
Very enlightening to hear from Khandelwal ji with regard to university, the state-owned university, the state-run universities. They take a lot of time in changing their gears. They remain in the same mode. I recall my visits to some of the technical institutions. You realize they are with the outdated equipment they are equipped with, but coincidentally, luckily, the arrival of the private players in the scene is very encouraging. And this voice of choice, you'll be glad to know, I was talking with the top notch in the industries. They showed their interest in participating in the program. So I thought this is something going to be very big blessing for all of us. We have school, we have college, we have university. We have also now employers willing to come. The industry is going to come, and not a very ordinary one. Very top class industry. I spoke with the HR head of the multinational company. I'm not going to divulge that currently. Maybe in the next program, you will see the industry also across being with us in the panel. So this is what is the magic being done with such programs. We will take a bite from these young people. You see, what has happened in the pandemic is not going to be reversed much. It is going to reverse, but not much. There will be I have a feeling, after being in the industry for almost about 45 years, there is a writing on the wall we need to read. Children have learned to learn at their comfort. Parents have learned to pay at their own terms. Good or bad, I am not talking. But this is what is not going to be reversing it. How do you feel that in my last program, I was asking students that it is very challenging times, but what are the opportunities you have grabbed? I think Mridul was talking, learning new skills. I would like to hear from Gaura. Gaura, how do you feel if after post-pandemic, school still remains blended, as Khandelwal ji said, is going to be offline, online mode, never 1,000 children are going to be there in the school, maybe 300 children, maybe it is in a staggered manner. And I think Khandelwalji said schools are required to transform their own structure, their own self, their own organism. How do you feel, Gaura? What will you prefer?
Online, offline mode.
Yes, yes.
So I personally will prefer offline mode because I have a time management issue. So I procrastinate. So I usually prefer offline mode. But then again, the students out there who will be preferring online mode because it's at their own comfort. They can learn at their own pace. And again, with online mode, there's this one thing that there's a lot of time saving. So if you can generate opportunities online, then absolutely students should be going over there.
Gaura, I would love to hear from you because I've been a teacher with modern school and as well as a summer field school, I was a PRT. I was talking with Jyoti ji. With Moina, I was teaching in a primary section. So what all we miss in regular school, it seems you are missing it.
Yes.
What is that you are missing it?
So I personally, the personal student-teacher relation, that personal touch, that is what I feel is missing the most. And then the class interaction. So when I used to join online classes, there was this awkward silence in the class because only the teacher is talking, but the students aren't really initiating any conversation, raising any questions. So that was what was missing the classroom atmosphere for me. So
I really admire because luckily I have seen directly 3 schools in Noida and Greater Noida. In one of the schools we had a team. So we were calling parents in a batch of 10, 10, 10. So in one batch, there was a small kid who has arrived and he was talking with his teacher. He said, "Ma'am, can I touch you?" I was literally taken back. Child is missing so much that he wants to touch his teacher. What is that in a teacher? Surely, nobody can replace a teacher. And teachers, no substitute, for sure. But I would love to hear from Mridul because this is the writing on the wall which I see. Be it pandemic over, not over. The writing on the wall is the school will be in a staggered manner and maybe blended. How do you feel, Mridul?
Sir, as far as I feel, that is a tough question, to be honest. You see, sir, online and offline both have their pros and cons. Talking of online, sir, yes, it has given us a lot of free time. I myself was able to teach some children, some underprivileged students from South. And sir, I would have never done that in an offline mode being a student. Apart from this, sir, the traditional offline schooling is indeed a very great experience. The interaction with the teacher. I remember I participated in a international quiz competition and I won that. So my math teacher was standing around with me. So I stood up. I was literally shaking and I touched her feet. And that touching of feet gave me so much positive energy or some charisma, whatever one may call it. And sir, I could gather so much strength that is unmatched, sir. Indeed, the student-teacher interaction and the students inter-student interaction, that is all being missed by the students a lot.
Absolutely. I'm reminded of my own days when I left modern school and joined UNESCO. After initial briefing, we were sent to what they call in their languages LDC countries, the least developed countries. So I got Bhutan as a country to go there. No car, nothing. You have to walk quite along and you have to go into the institute. It was a teachers training institute. So for a good number of years, I taught there and started working on a computer way back in 1983, 84, when computer used to be like washing machines. Very huge computers were there, So that is the time when we picked up, as Khandelwalji said, that, the skill development is also very important. which we have to take care of. But good that there's a lot of learning which our children have got during the difficult times of pandemic. And since we are very much on time, I would like to take a bite from any of the attending principal or a teacher who wants to make it a point. You can unmute yourself and put up a question or put up your take. I see Nandani ji is there, Anjali ji is there, Meeta Bandula ji is there. If any one of you has any thing in mind to share with, Chitrangda is there. Maybe they have heard so. Please, I think Chitranga is there. Chitranga, you want to ask something or you want to make a point somewhere?
It's a great honor that you called me out. Yes, sir. So basically, something I would like to share with these students, yes, throughout this entire journey that we have been carrying out through this platform, it is definitely pretty much clear that all these meta learning, all these self learning, it's something, it will also be preparing you for the future, because as a person like me, I am currently pursuing my master's, and for doing such kind of studies, you have to make a schedule like that. Okay, you have to make yourself disciplined in such a manner that you are dedicating your time by making your own schedule, by every way you have to decide that what you are going to study, how you are going to plan that thing. So this is something I believe that the students of today can also learn for their future, because they will realize that how to make their own timetable, how to be more disciplined, how to make themselves like their mind to be doing multitasking, like doing some hobbies, gaining some experience by doing some internship, yet also studying alongside. So
very encouraging hearing Chitrangda. Chitrangda is a very upcoming teacher, a lifelong learner who's still onto her studies, and you will all be very happy to know that she has been a student of a school where I started my in 19. Should I divulge the year? 1975. That was my first job. I took it up with Summerfield School, which is DLF back school. So one day, coincidentally, I didn't know, while being looking after JPS Greater Noida, that I have one of the students from there. And we had, Rachna Panji, the principal of the school, was also. We three were, so what has become very shrink to very small. I would like to take final word from Raviji. What message do you want to give it through this forum to the students, to the teachers, to the principals?
Okay, so my message is that things are bound to change, and if this change has come up, like this COVID-1, 2, or whatever, it's an opportunity. So students, please don't feel nervous at all. It's an opportunity of which you can take an advantage. We can assure you as leaders from the education industry that things are going to be better. This new model is going to serve you in a much better way. So don't feel nervous. Maintain your calm, and things are going to be better than what they were in the previous scenario.
Very important message. Don't feel nervous. Feel comfortable. Feel confident. They are there. The university is there. We have now Sahil ji. If you can, whatever the final message is, very encouraging hearing you in this session and the last session. I think it is. He always gives a very cool feeling to all of us, and this time also, I am sure he will have a lot of things to share with us. Please.
So my final message would be that generally change is not so easy to perpetuate. There is a lot of inertia. So this time, because of COVID, the situation forces us to recheck our assessment mechanism, but we may tend to go back to the previous system next year. So we have to resist that and continue in the direction of change and innovation. And it is all of our responsibility to be able to do that.
Very, very important, I think, what Sahilji said. You know, unlearn, relearn is something which we have to continuously keep doing it. Alvin Toffler has said very rightly, the illiterate of this century will not be some people who cannot read and write, will be those who cannot unlearn and relearn. Absolutely fantastic take. I think before I take a final dig with Khandelwalji, if there is anybody out of the attendees want to make some point, please is most welcome to come, unmute and make a point. I see number of principals, number of teachers.
Hello.
Good evening,
Yeah,
sir.
please. I think Gayatri Kamarji is there, the principal from Nainital sector. Please
Right.
come
Good
forward.
evening, everyone. Right.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. It's lovely to be here and hearing everyone. I really liked Khandelwalji's approach when he talks about skill development. And I really believe in that, because every child has a skill in them, and we must polish those. So that's my, that I really loved hearing him, because I feel because that's what the children are doing now. We have to start with coding for class 6 to 8 now. And so we want to be one of the first schools, so we will start with that with the children, so that, they get a platform. And as CBSE is evolving too, we are getting, circulars which keep telling us, going for skill development. We have entrepreneurship also in our school for the students. So what I'm just trying to say is that I believe in skill development, and I feel that that's the need of the hour. So that was just my input. It was lovely listening to
fantastic
everybody.
hearing you. Gayatri ji is in the Nainital. We have Anjali Malik ji and Meeta Bandula ji. If you could, are you there, Anjali ji?
Yes, sir, I'm very much there.
Please, if you can unmute and if you can appear, if you like to appear. Because we have done, I think, sizable work on meta learning in one of the JP schools. And she was leading process, a principal for past 12 years, and with a background of working with the CRPF public school, and now leading the JP public school Noida. Please.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure to hear from you. And I think it was quite informative when everyone from the university sector also pitched in, and now the program has taken altogether a new dimension when the students and of course people from university are there. So I think this was really desired long back. We really wanted that we should integrate well with the universities as well, and especially now with new education policy, it will not be good to work all alone, because unless the stream change and other things, this is taken in right spirit by the university people also. Any science student will not be able to pursue with business studies or maybe entrepreneurship. That will be the domain of very, very limited people. So if a student has to go ahead in computer science, why stick to maybe choices of chemistry or something? So I think this new education policy will open new horizons, and the universities are also all set to change. And in no time, with this present batch of class 9th, with which we are going ahead with the changes of various initiatives by CBSE. Recently, data science starting in class 11. And I think the skills of tomorrow will be important. And universities I already see advertisements coming in that there are courses of graduation and post-graduation in data science. Even the existing people in the market who are actually working, who are on the skills, who are on the job, they have started picking the courses in data science, because that has become, this multi-skilling is very, very important. I mean, you cannot, I remember in our times, we did MSc B.Ed, and that used to be more than enough. I mean, B.Ed used to be a stamp, and that was okay. So now in teaching also, we look forward to the teachers coming in who are equipped with a lot of online courses. They should have done some courses from Future Learn. I'm already looking at people in the interviews who will be really well versed with what are the latest courses and techniques, and we would be assessing people on that also, that how positively people have used their time in pandemic. That's again very important, because this was a learning phase. It's all about coming forward and grabbing the opportunities. So it's great to be associated with sir as well, plus this platform. And
It is
I
big
think I
blessing
wish
to
everyone
have-
great day.
Absolutely. It's big blessing to have principals who are with such experience and contribute, making very valuable contribution. I would love to inform you that we have in our fourth coming program, even the industry coming on board with us. Very, very important players, multinational players like Mahindras have expressed, the Honda has expressed. We are all going to have on board the industry as well, so that the complete vertical is there with us. And let me share with you, in the last program, we had 13 youngsters who got silver and gold medal, and they are on now the Incredible Kids of India website. I think that's something great. We want to thank Bedi ji for giving space on their side. I would like to, if Meeta Bandula ji is there, she wants to make some point. I see her also there. Are you there, Meeta?
Good evening, sir. Good evening, Sharma sir,
Please.
and
Yeah,
very good evening to all
absolutely.
the esteemed panelists and the attendees. Sir, I think with the new education policy coming in, it is very important to bridge up the gap between school education and higher education, with a lot of changes happening at school level and university level. And this program is doing what is very much needed. You are taking on board the very important stakeholders, students, people from higher education and people from school education. And this unison, this attempt to bring people on the same platform and hear their concerns and know about what is going to happen in terms of assessment, in terms of university admissions, is really, really very useful and a need of the hour discussion. And I really want to compliment EduTalk and you, sir, for designing this program and bringing so much information for all of us. And the way universities are rethinking and redesigning their admission process in this scenario is really very important to know for students as well as for teachers and principals. So I think this program by EduTalk and the topics taken by you, sir, are very, very useful. I really compliment the team.
Thank you very much. And we were blessed to have the academia from the higher education. I'm indeed very thankful to Ravi ji for sparing his one very valuable more than 1 hour, and Sahil ji coming on board second time and giving such a valuable information to, I'm sure, because now with us there are about 40 to 50 schools which are on board with us. They will get a lot of cool feeling about the private players in the market and even the children. I'm indeed very thankful to the two young people. They have come out with their own experiences, their own aspirations. We feel very assured. I, as an elder, feel very assured that we are in very safe hands. These children will make it in life. They will take India ahead. We will be definitely in days to come a power in the knowledge industry. With those words, once again, I thank one and all for being with us. Thank you very much. And one and all, thank you. We are blessed to have you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Big
Thank
job.
you, everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
And Mridul, I just wanted to say, he's there, Mridul. Well done to him.
Yes, I'm there.
Well done, Mridul. Both Gaurav and Mridul,
no.
they spoke very well, I think.
Yes.
Right?
No, but just one thing about him, I really liked you're helping the underprivileged children. kudos to
Absolutely.
you.
Big joy.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, this
Yes.
empathy.
Taking
Yeah.
responsibilities for others is something which very few people do. So
Even
keep
in
it
the
up
last,
and God bless you.
absolutely, very, very important quality, empathy is, even in the last program, we had somebody, Himanshi Alawat, from Mount Abu School. She said she's helping out the COVID patient.
Wonderful.
These young people are
These
sizzling
children,
in the, absolutely.
Really, God bless you.
Gorgeous. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
One and
sir.
all.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much
ma'am.
for being
Thanks a
the
lot.
part of
Thank you.
EduTalk. Thank you, everybody.